Well, hello and welcome to Photography with Imre, and I have a shocking personality. And that's because on this episode, we're going to be talking about lightning. Let's get started. Before I get into techniques I've used to photograph lightning, I must stress the importance of staying safe. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, in the last 30 years, an average of 58 people per year have been killed by lightning in the United States, with documented injuries numbering around 300 per year. For more information on lightning safety, feel free to check out my blog as I have links to NOAA's website and other lightning-related pages. So if you choose to take shots of lightning, ensure that you're well educated about it as you're doing so at your own risk. It's nice not to end up being a smoldering pile of ash, and I don't even want to think about what a lightning strike would do to the camera. Poor camera. Anyway, let's get started. First up, the location. In my case, I've been inside my home with the camera pushed right up to the window, just outside of my home, and in an open field on top of a hill. That's actually not a joke, and where I took this awesome time-lapse footage of this supercell. Luckily, this storm was very far away, but really I should not have been in an open field on top of a hill doing this. Another location I've considered is a mobile one. Although I haven't yet done this, I'll one day stop being lazy during a good thunderstorm and drive to a safe and traffic-free area where I can set up my tripod and camera on the passenger seat. At least I'd be sheltered from any rain and inside a fairly well-insulated metal box. But it's not just the photographer's location that is important. The location of the storm must be considered as well. Being right under a storm generally does not produce aesthetically pleasing photos. Heavy rain or even hail can detract from the lightning strike, not to mention that it's also really dangerous. In most cases, especially if you're aiming for those epic shots, it's advisable to shoot the storm from a distance. In other words, I like to consider the composition of the photo rather than just aiming to snap a shot of the lightning bolt. Just take a look at these two images I took. Sure, the one on the left has a really bright strike, but power lines and roofs don't exactly make this a winning photo. The shot on the right, though, has a lot more to say, even if the lightning only makes up a small portion of the image. I just love the way this massive billowing cloud dwarfs the suburban landscape below it. Great stuff. Now, let's say I found a location, but how would I take a shot of lightning? I mean, even a powerful bolt with several return strokes may only last about 1/10 of a second, if that. Even with the fastest of human reflexes, the lightning strike would long be over before the shutter button is even pressed. Well, there are a couple of answers here. To begin, there are lightning trigger devices you can get if your camera is compatible with them. These devices usually detect the bright flash from the bolt and electronically trigger the camera. Because they are electronic apparatuses, they activate extremely quickly, and even if it takes the shutter a few milliseconds to pop open, the lightning bolt is still usually captured. But in my case, I simply use long exposures, usually anywhere from about 4 to 15 seconds in length or even longer. So for example, I'll start by framing the shot, then setting the sensitivity and aperture, and I'll finally set the shutter speed to something that will provide a decent exposure. To get that decent exposure, I just take a few test shots until I'm happy with the results. By the way, you may also need to manually focus, especially if it's dark and you're pointed mainly into a cloud. At this point, I'm ready to take the shot, but by using this method, I need a little luck on my side because what I'm hoping for is the lightning to go off before the shutter closes. In cases where lightning doesn't happen, as soon as the shutter closes, I immediately press the shutter button again, and I hope that for the next cycle, I'll snag a nice flash. Now, I might be making this sound a little simpler than it is. One thing that can complicate things has to do with how much available light there is. Taking photos of lightning at night will easily permit a photographer to use exposure times that are very long, 15, 30 seconds, or even up to a minute. But shooting lightning during daylight hours can be a bit challenging. In some cases, the sensitivity can be reduced as far as it will go. The aperture can be closed down to only allow a small amount of light through the lens. Neutral density filters can be employed, or a combination of all these things, which can help permit the use of shutter speeds that range into the seconds. So with a little luck and some good timing, some amazing moments might be caught in a flash. Well, I certainly hope you enjoyed that episode. As usual, I'm going to write a supplemental blog post, so check out my blog, where you can also find Facebook and Twitter links. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. You guys are awesome out there. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you next time. Take care.